That's right, peeps. Time for some Soundgarden. Now we are going to get straight into this one. I've been meaning to do this one for a while. Tabbed it out ages ago when I did the top 10 Soundgarden riffs. If you want to check that out, then I'll put a link in below. That's good fun. It was loads of detuning and retuning, but still lots of fun. So let's crack on with the first riff. Now I'm sure a lot of you know how to do this already, but for those that don't, you are in drop D tuning, which is your E string tuned down by 2 frets or 1 tone or 2 steps, whichever you prefer. Should sound like that. And the rest of the strings are in standard tuning. So let's crack on. The first riff goes like this. You're going to struggle to find a better intro than that, I think. So good. Basically, you're barring. It's not that difficult to play either. Just watch out for a couple of little incidental open strings and you will nail it as per the album. I'm pretty sure that is exactly as it is on the album. So place your first finger on the 5th fret. Make sure you're covering all of the strings, and then you are going to be arpeggiating the first 4 strings. Okay, so couldn't be easier. Okay, so as long as you can bar a whole fret, you're good. Okay, so that slowly is. Then the second chord, you're just going to put your little pinky on the 8th fret on the E string and then play. That's the first bit that will get tricky, okay, because it's a little bit of a stretch, and once you press down, I mean, it's not really a stretch, but because you've got to keep your whole kind of finger anchored here, it may feel like a bit of a stretch, okay? So, and you really want to arch your little finger. So I'm really moving my sort of elbow forward a bit, so you can see my hands kind of rotating around the fretboard a little bit. And what that does, it gives this a little bit of a lift, so you get that nice and clean, okay? And that's just ascending. You just let that ring out like I just did. Then you're going to move down to the 3rd fret. Now it's the same again, you're just barring the 3rd fret, but your pinky is going to be on the 5th fret on the G string, okay? So that one, okay? So then you're going to do an arpeggio up and down again, but at the bottom you do an open E, alright? So that is like this. Okay, so that again slowly. Which sounds maybe a bit odd on its own, but it's a passing note before you shift that whole shape down 1 fret and play. So in context, it totally works. Have a listen. Lovely. Then you're going to do another open E en route to barring the 1st fret, okay? So from here, you're just playing chromatic run, okay, from the 3rd fret down, right? So and then you're playing the 1st fret position, and that is just the same as the first chord in terms of arpeggiation, okay? So up and down. Then you play this cool chord at the end, which is basically the open D, and then you've got 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, D is open, and 1st finger on the 2nd fret on the G string. And you just let that ring out, okay? And then the drums drums come in. Right, so verse riff has that really cool Leslie type effect on it as well. So check that out. I haven't had time to set it up, otherwise I would have done the sounds for you as well. If you want to know the sounds in this, then just comment below and I'll run through the sounds of both guitars on that and how you get the tones, or how you get close to them anyway. So anyway, on with the verse. Verse goes like this: 2, 3, 4. Okay, which is lovely, really beautiful. So pretty straightforward though. There's a couple of bits at the end that are fairly tricky-ish, but you're just barring the 12th fret for the first bit, and you start on the and. Okay, so it's 2, 3, 4, 1, and that is just arpeggiation again. Okay, so very slowly. Then you're going to move position to 12th, 11th and 10th on the top 3 strings. And that again is on the offbeat, so it's 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so those 2 bits, 2, 3, 4, 1. And next chord position's an F power chord basically. So like... But you play the same picking pattern as you did in the first phrase for this, okay? So... Okay, so that again slowly. Then you play back to the 12th fret, okay, with... But there's a very quick slide that goes... So a bit of a grace note slide, okay? Then you're going to be playing this chord shape, so 12th, 11th, 11th on the top 3 strings. So then you slide your finger down 1 fret, but you keep the root on the 12th fret on the G string. Okay, so from that. So now I'm swapping. You could actually play it. If you want. That would make way more sense, but for some reason my fingers naturally go to that. To get the same effect. So entirely up to you how you do it, but there's a couple of options. Then you play a couple of chords in quick succession, and this is probably the trickiest bit. So 12th fret's pretty easy, it's just... Okay, so as per tab, then you move down to the 12th fret, but you're going to put your 3rd finger on that B string. Okay, so it's not... It's... Now remember to play the 4th note of each chord arpeggiation as the root. Okay, so... Then you need to slide up to, what is that? An A flat. An easiest way to finger that is with your first finger on the E flat, which is the 11th fret, and then 2nd and 3rd fingers just tuck in on the next 2 strings down, okay? So that again slowly. Okay, let me run through the whole bit slowly so you can see it, okay? 2, 3, 4, 1. It's just awesome. Okay, and then we're into the chorus section. So the chorus section is lovely as well. And the first two chords of the chorus are actually the last two chords from the intro. So that's been nicked. But it does vary from there. Okay, so let me play it through. Okay, first chorus anyway goes like this. Okay, the second time round it plays. Okay, so slight variance there, and it does change up again. I think the second time it plays the chorus, I think it goes round it more times. But anyway, I'll come off that bit of distortion just so you can hear it. So first part is just. So exactly the same picking pattern for both phrases, and then there's this variance which goes. Just awesome. Okay, so that first part slowly is. Then you go to the 5th fret and you're playing just the open D and G string, okay, but. Okay, so a bit like. Same sort of. Which is lovely, very Soundgarden. And then you're going to go to a B flat major with that same picking pattern. Then you play that round again. And then you're going to go to a C chord and you're going to play a sus fourth, okay, so. Okay, so your finger's going to be playing. Okay, and then you play D at the end. So the riff is. But. With a. Okay, pretty straightforward. And the second time you play the chorus, it does change slightly. The first time around is exactly the same, so. But the second time, rather than playing, it plays. And then you go back into the riff. Okay, let me put some distortion on. Second time of the second chorus, okay, so. Okay, so that's the then third time. The fourth time you're going to play, you break out into this. And then you play that riff 4 times round, okay? So let me play the 4th time round of the second chorus. Then you're into this 9/8 riff, okay? And all that jazz with the solo and stuff, okay? So let me go back through that very, very briefly. I think I've done most of the chorus part to death, but the only difference is, and it's exactly the same. You play that once, and then the 4th time round you break off into this C to B flat to D. Okay, so. And that cycles round. There's 3 bars that cycle round 4 times, okay? And then the last riff, which I'll show you, is this one. So you're going to play. Again, 9/8. Who doesn't love a bar of 9/8? So Soundgarden do. They love it. So that is on the 3rd fret on the A string, down to the 2nd. Then the open A. Slide back from the 2nd to the 3rd. And then you're positioned neatly. If you do that with your first finger, you're positioned neatly to put your 3rd finger on the 5th fret on the detuned E string, okay? And D string. So, chromatic again, alright? And then you just do, I think it's the G, B and E string that you just strum, okay, with a kind of upstroke, so. And you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2. So that's the 9/8 bit, okay, so. Okay, pretty straightforward. I'll play it very slowly. So that's it from me. I think that was my first Soundgarden lesson. Yes, it probably was. So stay tuned for lots more. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. And see you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.